So today we're going to start with the solution triangle. So solution triangle it's quite an important chapter because it's going to affect your future chapter form 5 as well, which is the circular measure. So you have to know how to do this chapter. Okay, this chapter very easy, actually very easy, right? There's three main rules that you have to know, no, two lah, right? And then one formula that you have to know. So first of all, you have to know the sine rule, okay, the sine rule, which is A over sine A equal to B over sine B, right? The solution triangle, there's two rules that you have to know, and the last one, which is the area formula. So area formula is simple, right? It's very simple. Cosine rule is also very simple, and the sine rule is also very simple. All of these rule you can only use on certain place, okay? Certain place. For example, the sine rule, you have to have two angle for you to use because why? Look, sine A and sine B. Okay, and in case you forgot lah, right? In a triangle lah, right? In a triangle, right? In a triangle, if you were to say this is A, right? If you were to say, sorry, if this is A, right? Then the angle here, right? That is opposite to the wall. This is big A, capital A. Okay, just think of the interior angle as the capital letter. So if this is B, the opposite wall of it, right, is the small b. Okay. If this is C, the opposite wall of this is going to be C. Okay, this is capital C, this is small c. It's fine if you don't know that, right? So this is the way we calculate. Okay, that's how we're going to use this in formula here, right? So cosine rule, if you pay attention, right, this cosine rule is almost the same as a square equal to b square plus c square, or in other words, the Pythagoras theorem. So now we're gonna look at the first question here, the first question. But before that, we have to know the basic thing involved in triangle, which is of course lah the area triangle. But the area is only for a 90-degree triangle. You cannot use this area, this formula here, on normal triangle. Okay, so 1/2 times base times height. Common sense, right? The normal one. And this one here is the Pythagoras theorem, so that you can find the length of the hypotenuse. Very simple. And in this chapter, right, you're gonna learn two angle. Actually, you already know the two angle, right? But inside a triangle, right? What is the total sum of the interior angle? It is 180, 180 degree. Okay. So if they ask you, if they give you this and this, right, and they want to find C, so how to find C? Just minus stuff. This one minus A minus B, you will get C. Okay. So you have to pay attention to the interior angle. And inside the interior angle, right, they can only be obtuse or acute angle. It cannot be angle with more than 180, or else it would not be a triangle. Okay, it will be a more like a polygon. Okay, so an acute angle, you can think of it like this. Think of it like this. It's very little, right? It's very little. It's less than 90 degree. Okay. Meanwhile, obtuse, you can think of it like this. See, you can think of it like that. So that is obtuse. This is acute. Okay. And if they give you, why is this important actually? If you were to get an acute angle, right? For example, 30 degree, right? They ask you find the obtuse angle. Come on lah, come on. This one 30 minus this one, right? So this one minus this one, you will get the obtuse angle. It's very simple. So you will get 180 minus 30, you will get 150 lah. So the obtuse angle will be 150. Yeah, just use that common sense, right? So now the first question. The diagram below shows the position of Christina's house, Ron's house, and a post office. Okay, calculate. Sorry, my throat is dry. Calculate the bearing of the post office from Christina's house. Do you know what is a bearing? Bearing is actually a simple term, right? Simple term. Explaining like this. Basically, if you have a compass, right? A compass, north, south, east, and all that, right? A bearing, right, start from the top. So if they say a bearing, that means there is a 90 degree. So if I were to say a bearing of 180 degree, it will be going from here to here. Okay, so it's just going to go from this side here to the left. Okay, be careful. If they say the bearing of let's say for example, the bearing of 270. So it should go from here to here. Okay. And if they say the bearing of 360, of course lah, you go for here, for here, for here. Okay, full circle. Understand, right? Very simple. So they say calculate the bearing of the post office. Okay, calculate the bearing of the post office from Christina's house. So they want the bearing of the post office. So what they want actually is this angle here from Christina's house. So they want this angle here. Okay, because why? Look here. If there is an end, right? Just now the bearing lah, right? Bearing. It follow the direction now. So this is the end. Okay, the north. So that means this straight line here, right? This straight line here is the bearing. Okay, and if there's a bearing, this will be 90 degree. Okay, remember this will be the 90 degree. But do we need to know? Do we need to know that? No need lah. But you just have to know this is the bearing. Okay, that's what they are talking about, and they want to find the bearing of the post. So they want to find the bearing of the post. Okay, the bearing of the post office from Christina's house. Okay, so what they actually want, right? The bearing of the post office, right? So what they actually want is the angle from here to here. Be careful. They want this angle. They do not want Q angle. Q angle is not bearing because why? It has to start from this thing here. It has to start from here. So if you look here, right? If you look here, it has to start from here. You cannot start from here. It's not bearing. It has to be here. So they want this value here, this theta here, right? So be careful with the word, right? So what can we do now? For now, my tips for answering this question are right. Always, first of all, fill in the blank. Okay, just look at the diagram and answer. Okay, look at the diagram and find every single thing you can find without them asking you. For example, can you find the angle of theta here? You can absolutely find it. Well, you know why? You can use the first rule. The first rule, which is the sine rule. Okay, sine rule. So what does sine rule state? State A over sine A equal to B over sine B. Okay, so we can compare two things here. So what is A, what is B? We can use either way lah, right? So let's say lah, this is A. Let's say this is A. So the angle here, the opposite from here, right? This is gonna be capital A. Okay. Then we can use B. So B, what B should we use? We should use this B lah. You know why we don't use this side here? Because why? We are trying to find this angle, right? This angle. And this angle, what is the opposite? This one here, right? So of course we are going to use this one here. So this will be B. So the A will be 12. And then the sine A would be 98. Sine 98. Equal to the B will be 9.4. The sine B will be sine B because we do not know, right? Let's use it as sine cube. Okay, because we are this cube, right? So that is the first step. Now we can just use our calculator. So 12 divided by sine 98. Okay, and then 9.4 divided by answer. Okay, and then you will get 0. So sine cube equal to 0.7757. For this topic, I would recommend you to write 4 decimal place. Because if you were to get for example, you write 0.7, right? 0.7 or 8 right? 0.8, right? You round up to that one, right? This would affect the later part of the question, the later part of the question. So then the answer will get very far from the schema, and you do not want that, right? So I would recommend you to do 4 decimal place. My teacher always recommend that, right? And what to do? We want the Q only, right? So we can get rid of the sign by putting the arc sign, or sorry, sine inverse. Arctan is a uni version. So we can use that one. So what is sine? Sorry, this one answer. So it will be 50.87. Okay, the centimeter I don't mind lah, right? So it is centimeter. Centimeter or kilometer? Kilometer. So this should be kilometer. Be careful. Hey, this should be degree. I don't know why I was putting kilometer. So this should be degree. Okay. So 50.7, 50.87. Now they want this angle here, right? This angle here. And remember, a bearing, right? A bearing only have 490 degree, right? This side here, this side here, this side here, this side here, right? And you can see lah, it's very obvious, right? This is a 90 degree, right? So to find this area here, just minus lah. So 90 minus 50.87, it will be 39.13 degree. Okay, so our first was correct. So they ask the bearing, calculate the bearing of the post office from Ron's house. So from Ron's house is here, right? Ron's house is here. Can I lock this? This already here. So Ron's house is here, right? Ron's house here. They want you to find the bearing, right? The bearing of the post office. So the bearing for this one here, right? For this one here from Ron's house. So do you think the angle will be this side here? No. Remember, it has to go from from right side. So it will actually, you have to find this angle. You have to find that angle, okay? So you will have to find this angle. Yeah, that's a long angle, right? So how to do that? First, you can either do like this. Find this angle, which is, we already know. What is this angle? If you were to look here, right? What is this angle? This will be 90, 90, 90. So this will be 270 degree. Okay. Now we have to find the angle of R. So what is R? So R very simple, right? You already have two interior angle, right? So we can just fill in the R here with what? 180 minus 98 minus 50.87, right? We can use that formula, the most simplest formula. Don't forget that. Think from the basic. If you cannot do anything, think more. So it will be 31.13 degree. Okay, this will be 31.13 degree. Okay, now what is the bearing? The bearing should be combining both. So if you combine both, the bearing will be 301, 301.13. Okay, so I'm just going to write here 301.13, 339.13. Okay, so now we are done with B. Now C, the distance from Christina's house to the post office. Okay, they ask for the distance for Christina's house to the post office. So Christina's house, right? Christina's house to the post office. Okay, this one very easy lah, right? So you have all the information necessary. You can use yeah, you can use any actually, but I prefer to choose the easiest one, right? We see the sine rule again. So let's use the sine rule again. So the sine rule state you can do like this, right? You can do like this. So let's do right here. A over sine A equal to B over sine B. Okay. So what is A here? What we want to find? We want to find this one, right? So this will be A. We can label this any lah, right? We can label this any, but make sure it's the same symbol. If this is A, right? The interior angle, sorry, if this is A, right? The interior angle opposite of it, right, should be capital A, right? Be careful. So let's label this as A. So this should be A, capital A. Now we want A. We do not know what is A, but we do know what is sine. So sine 31.13. Okay. And then B, we can choose any side here. For B, we can choose any side here. So I'm just going to choose the 9.4. Okay, and then sine 50.87. Okay, so we have this one here, right? Yeah. So let's solve this. Very simple. Let's solve this. Sine 33, okay, yeah, 9.4 divided by sine 50.87. Yeah. And then times sine 31.13. The answer is A is 6.26. Yeah, 26 kilometer. Tada! That's the answer. So far very easy, right? So far very easy. So now Let's use the cosine rule. Let's introduce ourselves with the cosine rule. Cosine rule is, it look intimidating, but it's not intimidating. Okay. So the cosine rule, just to remind you, this is the cosine rule. A square equal to b square plus c square minus 2bc cos A. So let me just write again, just so that it's not confusing. So a square equal to b square plus c square minus 2bc cos A. Okay. So first of all, in the diagram on the right, QST and PSR are straight line. Okay. From here already, you can see like that there's a straight line. So they said QST, where's QST? QST is this one here, right? This one here. QST and PSR, okay, are straight line. So first of all, here's my tips. Here's my tip. Whenever you hear them mentioning something, right, think of them as important. Why they mention straight line? Why they mention straight line? Because straight line, remember, straight line can be involved with the 180 degree. It's a 180 degree. So meaning, this, right, the straight line here, this will be 180 degree. Okay. And this straight line here, it will also be 180 degree. Okay. So you have to think of the straight line possibility. But there's also another property of straight line. Okay. But later I'm just going to explain that, right? Just in case. So what they want to ask, find the length of QR. So QR will be here. Okay, QR will be here. So what can we do first? First of all, we can try to fill in the information. A cosine rule. We are given you this cosine rule, right? Cosine rule only need 1 degree, right? One angle. Do we have an angle here? No, we do not have, right? But what do we have? We have a lot of distance. Distance. So we can actually use this rule here. So we can choose one triangle to have, so that we can use this formula here. So let's think about it, right? Which triangle can we use this formula for? Actually, a lot, you know. So let's fill in the blank that we know. This is 6 centimeter. Okay, that is 6 centimeter. So we can actually calculate the degree for this inside one here. Okay, inside one here, or this thing here. Either way, it doesn't matter, lah, right? So follow me. What we are gonna do, right? Because remember, this is not angle, lah, right? So we can use any of these here. So let me move this closer so that you can see clearly. So let's choose which one is A, which one is B. So let's choose this as A. Right, this is as A. So this will be the capital A. This one as B, or you. This one as B, this one as C. Okay. So we can use this as 9 centimeter. Oh my god, color difference. 9 square equals to 6 square plus 6 square minus 2, 6, 6 cos A. We do not know what cos A, right? So we can use that one. Now, use your calculator. 9 square minus 6 square minus 6 square divided by, okay, divided by negative 2 times 6 times 6. Okay. And then you can yeah, cos negative. Answer should be cos A should be, see here, it should be negative 0.125. But we want to get rid of the cos, right? And we want only the A, right? So we will move the cos by using the cos inverse. Okay. So cos inverse negative 0.125. We will get 0.5. Oh, sorry. Let's see. 97.18 degree. Tada. That's how you do it. Very simple. Okay? Very simple. I don't know why I was stuck there. So we know this one here. We know this one here is 97.18. Right. But what does that help us? Because, right, just now I said we have to focus on the hint that they give you, right? Whatever they give you the equation, right, in the question, you have to try to think of a way to use them. They mentioned straight line. Garis lurus, right? That means you have to think of a straight line property. What is the straight line property? If you look here, right, what is the straight line property? What is the angle here? This is 180, right? That's the angle, right? And if there is two straight line, right? If there's two straight line, right? This angle here, right? This angle here will be the same as this angle here. Is a property you learn in lower form. and this angle here will be the same as this angle here. Okay, but do you need to know that? No lah, you can just use common sense. So if this is straight line, right, this is straight line, right, just like I said, right. So what is the angle here? The angle here will be just minus lah, this one minus this one here. So 180 minus 97.18, you will get that this is 82.82. Okay, 82.82. And then if this is 97.18, this should be 97.18. And just in case you forgot this property lah, right? This property, the intersecting property, you can actually use common sense, because just now I said this is a straight line, right? This is a straight line, right? So this will be 180. Okay, this will be 180. But this is also a straight line. That's what I said, right? So the angle here should be 180 as well. If you have this angle here, you can just minus with this angle here to form a straight line. Common sense. So you have this one here. Now, find the length of QR. So we have an angle here, and we want to find the length of QR. QR, right? So cosine rule, right? Cosine rule. There's also another way to see cosine rule. First, you can see cosine rule as the only rule that require 1 degree only. Okay, 1 degree only. But cosine rule can also think it for just to simplify, right? You can think of it as an animal's mouth. Look here, look here. If you have an animal's mouth, right? Like this is the teeth, this is the teeth, right? If you have this angle here, right? I'm just gonna call it A, right? What is this angle here? It's gonna be A, right? And then if you have this will be C and D. Okay, so it's like an animal mouth, right? You can just think of it as a mouth or mouth. Okay, so do you see a mouth here? Do you see a mouth here? Actually, you should see a mouth here. This is the mouth. Very weird looking mouth. But this is the mouth. Okay, you can see the mouth. This is the teeth lah. I guess this is the teeth. So this will be A. Okay, this will be A. So that means the inside will be capital A. Okay, so let's use the cosine rule again. Again. So A square equal to B square plus C square minus 2 BC cos A. Okay, 2 BC cos A. So what is A square here? What is A square here? A square here is this A, right? This A here. Don't choose this, don't choose 10, don't choose 4 here. Because why? They are not A. What angle we have? We have this angle, right? This angle here. So we can only choose the opposite wall here. Okay, we can only choose the opposite wall here. So that's why the A would be A. Okay, the QR lah, if you want to write it better. QR square. Okay, equal to B square. Where's B square? This and this lah. You can choose either way, 4 or 10. I'm just going to choose 10 square plus 4 square minus 2 10 4, yes, cos the angle we have 97.18. Okay, so let's calculate this. Very simple. So press your calculator. 10 square plus 4 square minus 2 10 4. Okay, cos 97.18. Yes, so it will be 125.99. Right, 99. But we have to bunda it, right? So let's bunda it to 126. Okay, but is it the answer? Of course not. No, we have the QR square, right? We only want QR. So to find only the QR, we have to square root it. Okay, so 126 square root it. So 126, we get QR is 11.22. That's the answer. But is that the answer? No, we have to write centimeter. Ta-da! That's all. Very simple, actually. Now let's go to the next two tests before we end this class. This class is very easy, actually. But just now I had a brain fart, so I was dumb. So the diagram on the right shows the position of an oil rig, a tanker, and a helicopter. Okay, this is a tanker, kapal lah, kapal besar. This is helicopter. This one is an oil rig lah. Okay, and then the bearing of the helicopter from the tanker is 40 degree. So they say the bearing. The bearing is what? What is bearing? Bearing, just in case you forgot, bearing, right, is like a compass. Think of a compass, but there is angle inside there. This is 90 degree. This is 90 degree. This is 90 degree. This is 90 degree. Okay, but bearing has a special property. You know why? If they say the bearing of 180 degree, that means it is this side here. Okay, this side here. So how do you know what is a bearing? You have to know it start from the straight line. Okay, start from the straight line and then it goes to the right side. So if I were to say a bearing of 270 again, it will be here. Okay, if I say bearing of 90 degree, it will be here. So a bearing is like a compass, right? Like, yeah, see, a compass. They use a compass there. So they say that's 40 degree. Given the distance between the helicopter and the tanker is 30 kilometer. Okay, we already see that, right? Whereas the distance between the helicopter and the oil rig is 10 kilometer. Okay, we see already. Calculate the kilometer distance in kilometer between the tanker and the oil rig. Okay, so first of all, before answering the question, I will recommend you to fill in the information that you know and try your best to find every single answer. Okay, so this is a bearing, right? A bearing. A bearing has special properties, which is 90 degree, right? Remember just now I said, right? This one here, yes, 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree. So if this is 40, this will be 50, right? Because if you were to add both of these, it will become 90 degree. So that's why it's 40. Now, what is the now what formula can we use? First of all, think if you are stuck on a question, right? If you are stuck on a question, go slowly. Okay, go slowly. The first thing that you can think of, right? Can we use the sine rule here? Can we use the sine rule here? The sine rule state that A over sine A equal to B over sine B. Can we use it? We can. You know why? Because we have two distance already. We already have two distance. Okay, the condition, right? You just have to think, can we use this formula? Can we use this to find any information? Yes, we can. So what formula do what information do you want? I want all this degree information here. So let's do one by one, right? Let's find this degree here. What is that degree? So you can use this formula here. So if I were to say this is A, right, then this will be A. If I were to say this is B, then this will be B. Just do opposite lah, right? Just do opposite. So A. A will be 10, right? And then sine would be 50, right? And then 13, we choose 13, right? And then sine B, okay? So now we can just solve this using your calculator. So 10 divided by sine 50, okay? And then times, 13 divided by answer, okay? So you should get sine B is equal to 0.995859. So for number, like, I prefer if you use 4 decimal place. If it's not the last answer, make sure it's the last answer that you can use 2 decimal place. Okay. If it's not the last answer, don't use 2 decimal place. So we have to find B, right? So just use sine negative, this one here. Now just use your calculator, sine negative, sine inverse lah, right? So this should be 84.80 or 81. Yeah, 81. 81. So now we can draw on the diagram. Always fill in your diagram once you find the answer so that it's easier for you to see. Now, once we find this side, we can immediately find this degree here. Why? Because it's a triangle, right? So we can actually just 180 minus all of this. So let's use a calculator. 180 minus 50 minus 84.81. So this will be 45.19 degree. Very simple, right? So now, once we do this, then we can look again at the question. What they ask? Calculate the distance in kilometer for the tanker and the oil rig. So the tanker here and the oil rig. Oh, so they want this distance, right? This distance here. So what can we use? We can use the animal mouth method, right? Animal mouth method, which is the cosine rule. Cosine rule. Cosine rule. What is the cosine rule? Cosine rule state that a square equal to b square plus c square minus 2bc cos a. This is the cosine rule, right? So we have to know what is a, what is b, right? So for this thing, right? For this thing here, if I were to give you hints, right? B and C are not important what value you put, but A you have to pick the correct one, because A, also you have to pick the one that have the angle. Angle, see, capital A. So let's look here. We want this, right? We want this. So we know this is, we can label this as A. Okay, if that is A, the opposite will be capital A. So we can just fill in the blank lah, fill in the blank. So this will be A square equal to B square, do we know, is 10 square. C square, do we know, 13 square. Okay, and 2, 10, 13 cos, cos what? 49 for 45.19. Okay, degree. Okay, very, very little space there. So, and then you use your calculator. So 10 square plus 13 square minus 2 times 10 times 13. Okay, cos 45.19. Let's check whether I'm correct or not. Yep. Okay, it should be 85.76. Okay, but this answer, no lah, right? We want to find the A, so we can just put it here. So square root it, so that we can cancel out. So 85 square root, right? Square root 85.76. So you will get that 9.26 kilometer, right? Yeah, kilometer. So that's the answer. Ta-da! So if I were to give you hints lah on this chapter, right? Because this chapter is very confusing, right? Sometimes people struggling with this chapter, right? Here's my inner thought. Here's how I answer this question. Whenever I see a question, right? The first thing I always do, right? Is try to fill in the blank. Okay? Fill in the blank. If I were to have a question and they ask a lot lah, like this one, right? See, they give you a lot of information lah, right? But most of them, right, is already on the diagram. So I will try to fill in the blank. Okay, without even looking at the question, so that I know a lot more information than I need to. Second, right? Second, if I am stuck, okay, if I am stuck, I will try to pick and choose the correct formula. I will try to use the different formula. So if I'm stuck, for example, like just now I was stuck, right? I would just look, sine rule. Can I apply this sine rule? Sine rule, what does it need? Sine rule need at least 2 angle or 2 distance. That's the rule. The rule here is at least 2 angle or 2 distance. Vice versa, right? Vice versa. And cosine rule, what is the rule? I need at least 3 distance. That's all. I need 3 distance. So that is the cosine rule. That is the sine rule. And then you have to understand, sometimes the information that they give, right, is important. So if they give you just now straight line, you have to know what is the property of the straight line. Property of straight line common lah, 180 degree, right? So I have to know. You have to know the property, and you have to look at the question and see which part, right, that they give that you did not use. You did not use. Imagine, like, you got a lot of questions, right, and then you see that, right, where would I use this information? For example, right, just now, right, the question for the straight line. This question, right, for the straight line, or not this one here. If for people, some people, right, if they see this, oh, they're just, okay, they're describing the diagram. No, they are giving you for purpose. They have a purpose. So you have to think, how can I use this information here? How can I use this information? And my last tips, right, my last tip is actually to just practice more, right? Of course, common sense, but that's my last tip. So try every formula. Okay, every formula. So of course, this chapter not only have this thing here, right? Not only have this thing here. There's also another part of this chapter that I'm not going to touch on, because it is confusing, and they rarely ask. And if they do, right, most of the time it will be this thing here, the thing that we learned today: sine rule, cosine rule, and the area formula. So don't worry about the other part. Okay, the other part. So now let's do this one here. Let's do this one together. Let's do together. I also don't know how to do this. So let's do this together. So they give you a diagram on the right. So okay, a gift box in the shape of a cuboid. Okay, okay. Can we use any of this? No lah, right? Because the property is simple. Calculate the area of the plane. Okay, they ask you area of the plane. So this area of the plane, right? If you were to draw it, right, it will be like this, right? It will be like this, right? So this will be A, this will be Q, this will be C, right? So to find the area of the plane, there's only one way to find it, right? The formula, which is 1/2 AB sine C. This is the formula for the area, okay? So what can we do here? First of all, if you look here, just focus on the back plane here. The just focus on the QBRC plane, okay? So the back part here, okay? The back part here. So look here. If you look carefully, right, this is what? This is what? This is a triangle, right? This is a triangle, right? So this one, you can actually use Pythagoras theorem. You know why? Look here. They said this is 6 centimeter. Okay, this is 6 centimeter. Let's fill in the blank first. Like what I said, right? Fill in the blank. So this is 8 centimeter. So this thing here should be 8 centimeter. Okay, 8 centimeter. Now, do we know this distance here? This distance here? No, right? You do not know, right? But we can actually fill in the blank again. How? We can use Pythagoras theorem. So Pythagoras theorem states that a square equal to b square plus c square. Okay, so we have to find, you have to have two distance. Do we have two distance? Yes lah, the 8 centimeter and the 6 centimeter. So we can find that one. So it become, yeah, x square plus 6 square equal to a square. Okay, a square. Yeah, that should be it. So you just solve this. 8 square plus 6 square. And then square root, the answer should be 10. So A will be 10 centimeter. So why did I do that, right? Why did I do that? Because I found this distance here. This distance, right, is where? Here. You can apply here. So this distance is actually here. See, I just use common sense. And look here. All of this can be applied again. Look, this one, look at this plane here. Look at this plane here, right? This plane here, PQBA, right? Can you find this distance here? Right, you can actually. Why? Because they already give you all the information. If this is 4, then this should be 4. Right, this should be 4. And then what you have? If this is 6, right, this is 6, then this should be 6. Okay, and then we can use Pythagoras theorem to find the hypotenuse. Why? Because this is a right angle. Remember, a right angle. So we can use Pythagoras theorem again. So a square equal to b square plus c square. So 6 square plus 4 square equal to a square. Right? Yeah, 4 square. Yeah. So you will find that 6 square plus 4 square and then square root the answer. You will find that the answer is 7.21. Okay, to 1 centimeter. Now, where did you find this? We find this here, right? So it is this part here. So 7.21. Okay, 7.21. Now, do we know any more information? Let's see here. Yeah, we can technically find the angle here, right? We can technically find the angle. Yeah, let's try finding the angle. So, sorry, I mean the distance here. Again, we can use the same formula here, right? So the distance here, you can use Pythagoras theorem again, right? So a square equal to b square plus c square. So this will be 8 centimeters, sorry, 8 square plus 4 square equal to a square. Yep. So x square plus 4 square. Okay. And then square root the answer. So the answer will be, sorry. 8 point, if you were to square that, right, 8.94 centimeter. Now, we have tried our best finding all of this information, right? Now, what we need, right? We need the area, right? The area. So, the area, also, I'm not going to do B today. Again, B is that one, right? So, the area we can use this formula, right? This formula here. And this formula requires what? It requires two distance and one angle. Do we have an angle here? Do we have an angle here? No. So, let's go back to what I said. If we do not know what to do, we go to each of the formula. to see which one we can use. What can we use? Can we use a sine rule? No, because we do not have at least one angle. Can we use, let's say, cosine rule? Yes, we can use cosine rule. You know why? Because there is there is 3 distance. So let's use cosine rule. Cosine rule states that a square equal to b square plus c square minus 2bc cos a. Okay, so a square. Okay, so we can use the cosine rule. Okay, cosine rule, of course, right? So the cosine rule, we can just input the formula to here. So just use any lah, right? Because why? Why? Because we want to find any angle, lah, right? Because we want to find area. What is the formula for area in this chapter? 1/2 AB sine C. And look, sine C is alone, right? So it doesn't matter what formula what angle you find. So this one, it doesn't matter actually. So I'm just going to use any. So 10 square, let's use this. 10 square equal to 7.1 square plus 8.94 square minus 2. B is 7.21, 8.94 cos A. Okay, so let's move all of this to the left side. So 10 square minus 7.21 square minus 8.94 square. Okay, it should be negative 31.9077 equal to, now let's solve this one here, use your calculator. So negative 2 times 7.21, okay, times 8.94. So negative 128.9148 cos A. Okay, so if you were to solve this, A would be, remember cos negative lah, cos inverse. So 31.9077 divided by the answer, you still get that one, and then cos inverse answer. You should get the answer for A would be 104.33. Ta-da! This is the angle for this one here. Okay, the angle for this one here. So 104.33. Now we can use the area formula. Why? Because they asked you for the area, right? So let's use the area formula. So area formula is 1/2 AB sine C. So sine C, you have to put the degree, right? So we have to put this one here. So if this is C, this will be C. So you cannot use this value here. You cannot use this value, okay? So you have to use 7.21 and also 10. 1/2 times 10 times 7.21 sine 104.33. Ta-da! That's all. It's very simple actually. Very simple. Yep. Okay. So 5 times 7.21 times sine 104.33. The answer will be 334.92. 93, right? 93, yes. Centimeter cube. Don't forget cube. Sorry, square. Yes. So that's all for today, class. This is very simple and also quite confusing for such a small chapter. I mean, this chapter is not that small, but yes, that's all.